Well, and so this leads me into one of my favorite questions that I get. A lot of businesses, you really have two different types of businesses. Maybe you have a business that produces a widget that even if the owner isn't there, the widget is going to continue getting produced, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have businesses that are basically based around the owner. Mm-hmm. So I would figure what you're telling me is that it's maybe easier to sell a business that has a process, that has a widget, something external to the owner, because if the owner leaves, does that decrease the value in the company?
Yes, absolutely. If I'm valuing that business and all of it is tied up in that owner, in other words, if the owner walks away, there isn't any business, that then I would discount that business considerably, because the business, I mean, and in today's market, with the capital markets being what they are, it would be very difficult to sell that business. Let's just turn that around. If you do have businesses, like you do, Shauna, that there's sole owners, maybe one thing that you want to consider, and there's nothing wrong at all with operating it by yourself and creating some sort of a pension plan and strip all the earnings out, as long as you're aware of that that's what you're doing.
So that you're not planning on that value to be a part of your nest egg when you sell.
Or it's another expression I use is that small business owners get trapped by the cash flow. So what I mean by that is they go along, they have a successful business that maybe they're taking, one small amount of money, and that continues to increase as the business goes on. What they don't think through is that how is that cash flow going to continue, and with some certainty. The other thing is that traditional financial planning completely disregards that business, and yet they call their planning diversified. That business represents over 50% of that owner's net worth.
Yeah.
How is their financial plan diversified?
Well, at 50%, that could be a serious issue.
Exactly.
Because they always talk about, most people look at their 401k or their IRA or whatever it is and say, okay, well, I maybe have some in real estate and some in bonds and some in stocks, and they call that diversified. But from what I've learned from you, there are multiple ways to diversify. So as you're saying, 50% is in your business, and you have nothing else really outside of that. That's a huge chunk. That's the downfall of what happened. Everybody had all their money in real estate, and it was all in one nest egg, and everybody lost all their value. So what kind of ways can a business owner diversify out of just having their business?
Diversify. Sorry, I'm going to clip this here. I believe that their business should be a store of value. I think that a small business owner should understand how the market would view their business.
Okay.
How a buyer would view their business, and there's plenty of data out there.
Fabulous.
In fact, I would welcome anybody to call me. That is something
Thank
that I
you.
could
That's
provide.
very sweet of you.
I could
Thank
provide,
you.
and that is just nothing more than looking at your financials. And this is something you could help them with, Shauna. Is that looking at their financials and comparing others like them, not by name, but within their industry group, and how is it that they compare to them in relationship to their general and administrative expenses, their payroll. Small business owners today, I think Americans in general have had their heads in the sand for so long that this has been a real wake-up call. Warren Buffett said in his annual shareholder meeting about a month ago that his investments today, he's the classic entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
He's made his fortune buying and selling businesses. It's not in the stock market, not in the bond market, he told his share. He said businesses are the store of value today.
The lifeblood of the country, there you go.
So when I talk about putting your head in the sand, educate yourself about this a little bit. And not so much, a small business owner, you don't have control of the buyers out there, but you can have an understanding of what is it going to take to make your business a store of value. What are the changes, you just turned 50 and you want to know, what is it going to take for me to grow my business and examine my business model as one that doesn't just provide just a living for myself and my family, but something that can be a very nice nest egg for me to turn in the future.